George Kirkham from Lethbridge, Alberta. Today we've got one of the Kirkham International Motor Truck Collection trucks out, and this is a 1959 RDF 230H. The neat thing about this one is it has a Rolls-Royce 210 horse diesel engine. That was shipped over from England at the time. And from 1959 to 1963, International put in Rolls-Royce diesels in 4 different models of trucks. Those trucks were built in Hamilton, Ontario. Actually, it was an ag factory that they built them in, where they also built pay haulers. And this was built in the area where the pay haulers were built in the plant. I've actually talked to people that worked right across from that area. This thing was bought from a farmer up at the Staveley area. They had bought it at a Ritchie Brothers auction with their dad many years before that. One of the odd things is I had the phone number for those people in my wallet for 8 years, and I never called them. I wanted to have a RDF 230. Never thought I'd ever end up owning one with a Rolls-Royce diesel in it. So as the story goes, we ended up buying it off of them and hauled it home. Jerry hauled it home. We were trying to decide what to do with it, and I thought, well, we'll go to start restoring it, and we'll take the Rolls-Royce out of the truck and put like a 220 or 250 Cummins in it, because they're about the same dimensions, which most of them got pulled out anyways and Cummins power put in them. I have an Englishman that helps us keep our old trucks running, and Bobby was insistent that we try to get this thing running and just to see if it is capable of doing that. Which after a couple months of bothering me about it, I finally said, you got 3 days to do it. Halfway through the second day, he calls me out, bring your camera in. The truck fired up right away because he had put new batteries and fuel and filters and whatever in it. The exhaust smoked a little bit, but actually very little for a truck that hadn't run for probably 10 years. About the only time it's ever smoked. You start it up today and she burns very clean. So obviously this one had a lot of the updates done to the engine, because these things had ceramic liners in them originally and were just troublesome from the word go. And they only lasted in the trucks for 4 years. Most of them were pulled out and Cummins power put in. And to find one today that has, I know of 7 other trucks that have the engine still in them, but not running. So the engine in this truck is a Rolls-Royce C6N 210. So C for Canada, 6-cylinder, inline 6, N for naturally aspirated, and 210 horsepower. They had a 570 torque foot-pounds of twist and were 2100 RPM engines. This engine was in surprisingly good shape. All we did was clean the engine on the outside and painted it gray, which it looked like it was out of the spots that we could find that still had some gray paint on it. It just runs marvelously, and surprisingly, without any trouble whatsoever. We've had to do nothing. We haven't had a valve cover off, haven't had an oil pan off or anything. It was equipped with a 5 and a 4 transmission, heavy axles, 15,000 pound front, heavy for the time, with power steering. Power steering was standard equipment on this truck, and 50,000 pound top drop differentials in it with a power divider. And on the auxiliary transmission, it has a power tower. Cab I took home and restored it. Anything that was yellow, I did the body work on it at home. The chassis was pretty much done in the shop with Bob working on it all one winter. And surprisingly, we were able to find about 90% of the suspension parts new old stock for the back end. And these are a lot different suspension that we'd normally have today with trailing arms, 50,000 pound capacity, Hendrickson walking beam suspension, and pretty severe duty piece of equipment back here. These would take a lot of abuse from rough roads, and but all the wear points, like I say, we were very lucky to find 90% of that stuff new old stock. We had to source some pins and some other bolts outside of that, but it's very tight and nicely restored. The tires on this truck are 24-inch 1224s, which are 24-inch rim, so they're quite tall on an 8-inch rim and a lot bigger than we'd have on a normal truck tire today. Rolls-Royces were available in 180 horsepower, 210, which this truck is, 250 with a turbocharger, and 300 with a turbocharger. But they were just not a successful engine. They had many problems. And in the Canadian market, I'm not sure in any market they would have worked, but you can't use ceramic liners, which they did. There was lots of stories about Rolls-Royce diesels, and I haven't heard a good one yet. We put a set of dual air horns on the top of her. Redid the upholstery, so inside looks as good as the outside. It has a wigwag in the hanging off the front, or the just in front of the windshield below the sun visor. And what that does is when the air pressure gets down below 60 pounds, it brings a stop sign down, because you're going to run out of air and you're not going to have enough air to stop the truck. This was back in the day when they didn't have maxi spring park brakes, where they just had a disc that had like a disc brake system on the driveline to help park as a park brake per se, or a safety brake. But they're nowhere near as efficient as what spring park brakes are, where you're using all four of your rear wheels to hold the truck. The cab on these were a normal ComfoVision cab that International used from the early 50s all the way up through to 73 or 74 on the M series. So when you restore a truck, you don't want to put an old painted air cleaner on there. So this one we had chromed, and it's an oil bath on the bottom here. So the air would pass through it. The heavy dirt particles would fall out into the bottom of oil pan here, and you'd get your clean air running back in through the engine. I was lucky enough, or smart enough, whichever how you want to look at it, to buy a new old stock grill surround at an ATHS show out east. Years before we did this truck. Didn't know what I'd need it for, but always dreamt that I'd probably do something V-liner or whatever that this would fit on. And lucky enough, with a couple little modifications with mounting holes, we were able to use that up, and looks pretty sharp. Rad shutters, radiator shutters, to keep your engine temperature in the cold weather, keep the temperature up, because these would always run pretty cool. The standard equipment on this truck was this heavy-duty bumper and grill guard. And the one that was on it was well used and beat up pretty good, so I had it replicated by a welding shop in town here, and did a very nice job. Toe pin in the center here as well too, that you could put your chain through or whatever to pull you out. And those things got used a lot on a truck like this. We chromed the steps so that you can crawl up and down there a little bit easier. As you get older, you need a few more steps. So the truck is also equipped with a optional lubrifiner, or an engine oil filter, that was mounted on, most of the time we're mounted outside the engine compartment, because this doesn't have enough room in the engine compartments on these things. But then you run your two hydraulic or your oil lines to and from the engine block, and there's a drain here that would drain oil all over your fender, and they were pretty much a nuisance. But and the filter itself was made out of crushed or chopped up newspaper, and that was your filter element on these lubrifiner filters. So lots of history. I remember selling those filters when we first started in business. But anyways, we got this chromed. It was a painted metal one, and we got her chromed up to go with the air filter on the other side, so it's symmetrical. So inside the cab here, we've got your park brake down below here, air park brake valve. We have a tachometer that's cable driven. We have a full set of gauges, oil, temp, fuel, and amps. Speedometer, air brake gauge, air wipers, and your heater controls, fresh air vent here, your tractor protection valve, power divider lock to lock up the back diffs, fifth wheel slider for the fifth wheel to unlock to slide it back and forth to adjust your weights, hand throttle, your gauges or your diagrams for the 5-speed main transmission and for your auxiliary transmission, 4-speed auxiliary. And your heater box down below. This is the main transmission shifter here. Correlates with this decal here. Your auxiliary transmission here, which is simple H pattern and first, second, third, and fourth. Both of these transmissions have an overdrive element to them. This is the control for the power tower on top of the auxiliary transmission to put it into gear or take it out of gear. Air horn, of course, too. On the roof, there's 2 air horns operated with that. Sun visors, pretty cushiony seats. These have a lot of cushion in them, so that's your suspension, is the actual seat bottom itself. It doesn't. It's not like a modern day truck where you've got an air suspension seat.